Yo, 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 what's the deal? What's the deal? What's good, my people? What's good, my people? It's your boy Jason Gooner. We're back in the building for another live episode. You know, this time it's the recap of the Nations League, Concacaf Nations League September window. Yes, we're going to do the player ratings. We're going to give the coach some ratings as well. And also, we want to ask, will the crowds continue to grow? We heard a lot of the players talk about the atmosphere in the stadium. I did watch both games back today, and I must say, listening to the game with the sound, you could hear the effect the crowd had on the players and the atmosphere of the game. Now, I would love to see the crowds continue to grow, and we're going to discuss why the crowds have been growing and see if it can continue. All right, so that's really the topic for tonight. We're just going to go through all the players, give them ratings for both games, give them an average. And then I think it would be cool if after we have done so ourselves using our eye test, we go back and we look at what the stats said based on the computers and the analytics that way, right? And see how close we get to what they were actually given for the games. Because sometimes, obviously there's going to be different opinions on players' performances. Sometimes it's just a given, a player score a hat trick, everybody going to say him play good. But there's a lot of nuance to the game, and sometimes people might see things differently. But yeah, I don't know if you guys notice, people, but the drip arrived one day too late to have on the jersey for match night, but it arrived today, so we'll put it on for the recap show for the Nations League. Yeah, I must say, it looked good on the screen, and believe me, it looks good when you have it on too. Very nice kit, very nice kit. A lot of the comments, the ballers put up a lot of Instagram posts, and a lot of the comments on it were saying, the drip is too clean, the drip is mad. So yeah, it does look good. The different jackets and pullovers, training pants, and yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look. But people, the YouTube things you have to do. Like the video, smash the like button, the thumbs up button. Yeah, man, that is literally your ticket to talk in the channel. Basically, if you want all the vibes here, you have to hit the like button. When I like people, when I like the button. If you don't hit the like button, just run away. Yeah. No, but I joke, man. But just hit the like button, people. I know me personally, I watch YouTube a lot, support all of the people and making content, and every now and again, if the person don't say it, I might not remember. So it's something where, you know, just a reminder. Just a reminder. All right, man. Try to check something out now. Okay. Yeah, people. So like the video, share the video as well, and be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new. Yeah, man. That is extremely important as well. Let me just switch this. Yeah. So the subscriber count is growing, and we really greatly appreciate all the new fans we're getting. So yeah, man, and let's big up the people I'm in the building. Drew Ross, big up yourself, or go on, my brother. Yeah, man, we're outside a little bit earlier. Want to get an earlier start because you don't know, man's need some rest for our long day tomorrow. Team Aggressive, yo, big up yourself, big up yourself, Team Aggressive. We're outside, we're outside. Yeah, man. So first and foremost, before we get too serious in the picking of the teams and things, how do you feel about the window overall? Because personally, I think I had a range of emotions this window. I think in the beginning, it was anxiousness. I just wanted the games to get going, get underway. Anxious to see what the new coach would bring. If there would be a lot of change in terms of, I figured it wouldn't be a change in personnel, but just wanted to see a different approach to how we play. And then that turned into maybe an emotion of a bit of disappointment at the result. But me being the one who always preaches balance, I could still appreciate that I could see a clear direction and a clear mode of playing within 10-15 minutes of watching the game. And it actually drove the point home today when I watched back the game as well. Just the different choices that we made on the ball, especially in the build-up phase, compared to what we used to see under the previous coach. So yeah, we're gonna discuss those things during the show. But me personally, it went from, as I say, anxiousness, disappointment in the result, to I guess a feeling of understanding, because I kind of understood, on another day we finished those chances, it's a 3-4 nil win. So it I was disappointed for a little bit, and then upon reflection, I was okay. And then I think, that 2-1 victory, even though on the balance of play, it could be argued that Honduras could have won the match, or definitely got a point. The fact that we ended up winning that game, that's the type of game I feel like a lot of times we concede late in that game. The last 5 minutes, injury time, we give up a goal and we end up drawing that game 2-2. But, the boys held their head. I think one thing that's very noticeable right now is the chemistry within the team. I think, one thing that Halgrimson did while he was there was kind of develop a core of players and kind of like somewhat of a leadership group. So like, when you're looking at players like a Bobby Reid, Ethan Pinnock, Damion Lowe, Andre Blake, even though he just joined, I feel like Demarai Gray is kind of a part of that group as well. They are kind of the ones steering the ship. And then you have even younger players like a Latibeaudiere, who is a club captain, somebody who clearly is a guy who is all about the team. And so, I noticed when they were getting back on the pitch in the Honduras game last night, you can see Norman Campbell running onto the pitch, and I think Latibeaudiere goes up to him and says something to him. And I don't know what he said, but I am just of the belief in my mind that he was saying something like, look, this is your chance, or, just leave it all out there on the pitch. Don't worry about anything. Play your game. And the first time Norman Campbell touched the ball in the corner, he gets off his skill, bust the defender Salad, goes around him and sets up the own goal. So, look, again, I don't know what the man say. I don't talk to him. I don't have no links to him, bridging them or him. But I just have a feeling like it was just, don't worry about anything. Just play your game. Just play your game. You can do it. Have the confidence to try, do your thing. And it came off on that play, and we got the goal. So, look, for me, a range of emotions I went through in this window. Just put it like that to summarize everything. A lot of different emotions. I'm here watching the U20 Women's World Cup. USA are playing Mexico. So, I like to see these Concacaf battles in the world tournaments. I was gonna do a stream for it, but I say, I definitely want to do a recap because there's a lot to discuss with this Reggae Boyz team right now. All is not positive. I think there are some things you can take away and say, okay, we need to reevaluate some things, and we're going to discuss all those things tonight once we get through the players. So first and foremost, people, let's just go through the teams. What we're going to do, we're going to do a rating system 1 through 10. We're going to go through the entire lineup of all the players who got to play in this window, right? And what I want to do is I want you guys to give me 2 scores. I want you guys to give me the Cuba score and the Honduras score. And like I said, people, we're going to do this prior to looking at any numbers, any metrics, anything. I think what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to have my own column. So I will give my own score. I will look at the people in the chat, and I will average out what I'm going to say. And then we're going to look at what Sofa score is saying as well after, and see how close we are or how far we are from what the analytics say. Zine, I think this should be something that's nice. All right, so we're going to try it. We're going to try it and see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to big up the people in the chat. Swamptivity, I'm bless you up. Once we not lose, I'm happy with the results. Yeah, man. Rob Smith said, big up Goon. I got the same kit, except they put my name on the back. LOL. Oh, you put your name on the back? Oh, you put your name on the back? Yeah. Sometimes I do that still, but this one, because I like it so much. I don't normally wear jerseys unless I'm playing football, but I like this one a lot to where I think I might wear it other than going to a match and doing streams, Up top. What go on, Tom? I can see that we're passing the ball around more than be a long pass. Yeah, man, that's true. Lower the value of the jersey by doing so. Yeah, for real. Yeah. got it from my 40th and put my name on it. I like it. Okay. Yeah. The birthday gifts, you can't too cuss. You just say thanks. Bless up J. Ross. So I go on. I like Lati. He got light skin complex. Man want to fight everybody every game. He says I like and it's a double because he kind of short, you know. Look like USA score already. Oh, what a finish. This girl play youth football for Brazil as well, you know. And USA call her for this under 20 and she say, yo, man, forward. See it there? USA have all the talent in the world and they might get girl from everywhere. Big up DNA. The midfielders need to come receive the ball from the defenders if we're going to play out from the back. Tom Stranger, agreed. Up, Eddie. What go on? Boy, Eddie. That look rough for the Gooners, you know, brother. We not even have a side. Hold on, I don't want to no free promotion. Yeah, man, me know. Yeah, man, I have a whole heap of jersey when I put my name and a number on the black. Yeah, man, I have a whole heap. Alright, so when ready? Well, I'm still fun already. I'm see how the like them stay. The likes, so let me know if I'm ready, you know. 30 likes? No, man. Over 50 people forward inside there already, man. So if everybody has smashed from them forward, supposed to go on the 50 long time. And I joke out this thing, man. Yo, smash the like button so we can start rate the player them. Side depleted. Let's pray we can still get a win versus Spurs and draw with City. Boy, if you give me 4 points right now and tell me take it, may I take it. Believe me. If I get 4 points in them 2 games, I'm gonna feel good about life. I swear. Yo, smash the like button, man. Don't do me like that, man. Don't do me like that, man. You know y'all get some top-notch banter tonight. Top-notch analysis. And we're gonna break down the thing the proper way. Alright, so first on the list, our captain for the window. You know, he looked like he found his cape again, especially in that Honduras game. Andre Blake, this window, people. So again, remember the rules, you know, and the instructions, right? We played 2 games in the window. I want you guys to give me 2 scores. So just write 2 numbers and I will know. The first one is Cuba. The second one is Honduras. So for me, in the Cuba game, kept a clean sheet. I thought the instances that required him to, you know, the goalkeeping actions in the game, for the most part, he didn't do them very well. He went to claim, I think it was from a corner that got flicked back over, dropped the ball in traffic. Luckily, we had enough bodies there, we cleared it. Next play, good counter by Cuba, one of the few in the game. Pinnock lost Reid a bit, through pass, comes out to claim. Not sure why he didn't go for the ball with his hands when he came out, but he slid and kind of, you know, had his foot dangling out there and made contact with the player, took the player out. Referee, no call. You know, I thought it was very lucky. Could have been at least a penalty. Maybe you don't get the double jeopardy of a penalty and a red card, but you know, it could have been a penalty. Some refs could have interpreted that as a penalty right there. So those 2 actions for me kind of ducked the score a bit because I didn't think it was that good. And yeah, I know it's a player grades, but we're going to keep it to the ratings. We're going to keep it to the rate. Actually, don't say grades. But one time I did do grades on here. Maybe that's why Eddie is doing that. But Eddie, more of the number same way, 1 to 10. And you can do 0.5s. No matter with the 0.1 and the 0.2. So 7, 8, 7.5, 9.5, whatever you want to say. So I guess a would be like a 9, you know, or a 9.5. All right, so Rob Smith. So here's an example of how it should look. You know, you can write something as well if you want. Blakey the Dan, 7 Cuba, didn't have much to do. Honduras 9.5. Simple as. So while the score them are coming, may I go on while them are forwarding, I should say, I'm gonna go on talk about the game them. So the Cuba game, as I say, the two actions wasn't so happy with. Didn't have much to do other than that. Thought he was calm in terms of playing out the ball, where he really wasn't under pressure. So was no need for him to be, going long anyway in the Cuba game. So in the Cuba game, I would say probably a 6.5. If I'm being fair, again, had created situations that he should have handled better, I thought, and the few times he needed to do something. So that's why, even though he got a clean sheet, I'm going to dock him a 0.5 from the 7 to a 6.5. And then in the Honduras game now, I'm probably going to say he gets a 9 in the Honduras game. Yeah, I'd give him a 9 in the Honduras game. So 6.5 and a 9. So I would give him for the two games. All right, I'm forward with the chat now. So we get a 7 and a 9.5. Eddie says 6 and 10. People are dropping the scores, man. Dropping the scores. Gonna make it hard for me to do the maths. J. Ross says 7 and 9. All right. All right, so 7 and so you can call it 7 and 9. 7 and 9. All right. So close. We have 6.5 and 9. All right. So Blakey, second game Honduras, as I said, the 9 well warranted. I see even a 10 on the board for him there. But in that second game, I thought he was really good. I thought, for the most part, his distribution was good. Still not the most powerful when clearing the ball. Doesn't get that much distance on them. But I thought, in his short passing game, he was decent for the most part. Played some passes that showed some better confidence. I thought he played some in some tight spaces, did connect them as well. Put his midfielder under some pressure at times, but clearly that was a part of the game plan. Try to, receive the ball with pressure, quickly release it to create space somewhere else for another player who can then drive it forward. So when you're playing out against pressure, you are going to have to play passes into tight spaces at times. And, my gripe with Blake at times would be, if the pass is not definitely on, he doesn't have the confidence to really play that pass. And I saw him kind of express himself more with the short pass yesterday, last night, and when I rewatched the game today as well. So I see just a bit more, belief that he can play those passes, and that's good. So I thought he was pretty good in the Honduras game, really good, like one of his better games recently for Jamaica. We did concede one goal, but I can't really fault him much on the goal we conceded. And he kept he kept us at that one goal with some beautiful saves. He had a one-on-one save from the goal scorer, after he had scored. Then he also had that late save on the last kick of the match as well. So, just overall really good. Claimed the high balls well from crosses. So, yeah, Andre Blake for me, I would say a 9 to a 9 in that second game. You know what? Honestly, a 9.5. I think he deserves a 9.5 in that game, honestly. Yes, I'm going to say he got a 9.5 in the Honduras game. Yeah. Sherman says Sporting Central Productions. Pick a few passes to the wing backs too. Yeah, that little chip ball. Yeah, he was picking that one out too. Wasn't. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna get. Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave it at a 9. I'm gonna leave it at a 9. But he was very good, very good. So basically, it looks like, everybody in the chat 9-ish, 9.5, 10, 9.5. Yeah, so I guess the chat giving him that extra 0.5. Bless up Cranky, bless up Cranky. Give me your 2 scores for Blake in both games. Cuba and Honduras. Good show tonight, Cranky. I couldn't stay for all of it, but I dropped my customary like as I should. I'll watch it. I'll catch it on the rewatch. And sometimes when I'm gonna do a show at night, Cranky, to be totally honest, I don't love to watch too much YouTube right before because, I think you would understand why that is. Just want my own thoughts, Bless up, Chris Smith. What go on? Yeah, man, we'll rate the players then. We'll go through the players, both games, Cuba and Honduras game, and then we average out a total and see what they got for the window. All right, so Cranky says 6.5 and 9. Wow, so we actually agree totally there, Cranky. 6.5 and 9. Tom Stranger says 6.5 and 8.5. All right, I was grappling with the 8.5, but so it looks like the more scores come in for Blake, his average is, I might have to change it from the 9.5 to the 9. So yeah, I'll wait for just a few more on Blake and then we'll call it a day for the chat. I think I can pretty much say that it's about a 6.5 to a 7 for the first game when you average out the chat. Yeah. So I think myself and the chat pretty much agree with the first one, 6.5. Say a 7 and a 7.5 as well. So maybe 6.5. No, I think 6.5 wins out. Eddie Guna had a 6 as well. So yeah, so a 6.5. And again, when this all finished, people, we're going to check the actual sofa scores and see what they think and see how biased or unbiased we are. So my average is a 7.5. The chat average for both games is a 8. All right, cool. All right, so the next player, people, we're just going to go through from goalkeeper through the defenders to the midfield to the forwards. All right, so the next player, Big Bad Ethan Pinnock. The man say him don't know where this Rupert thing forward from. It's Big E or Eth, but I don't know, Ethan, I'm sorry. I feel like you're going to name Rupert forever, Yeah, man, 6.5 and 9. Cranky life. Him say, want them? Far out. Him say, want them? See if we're not doing the jobs. Reach the 50 yet. Come on, man. 7 more to the 50, people. Must can get to the 50 before I talk for 30 minutes, star. Come on. All right, so next player, people. Big Bad Ethan Pinnock. So in the Cuba game, I thought he had an excellent game. Excellent game in the Cuba game, I thought. After watching it back again, really and truly was like that the player that was just setting the tempo for any time we were building out the ball. He kind of chose which side we started to attack from. Just overall very composed. I think that one play when Blake had to run out, Mexico equalized. Wow. That one play when Blake had to run out and he slid into the forward. I do think that the forward just had a clever movement, honestly, and I think Pinnock was expecting that he had the angle covered to the point where if the ball was played on a through pass, Blake would be able to reach it. And I think Blake didn't. I don't know. When I watched it back, it was almost as if Blake thought he wasn't going to reach it first, so he didn't want to really go all the way to challenge for the ball. And I think Pinnock was expecting him to come and get that ball. So a slight little mix-up there between the two of them. But I think other than that play in that Cuba game, I don't remember him really doing anything wrong. Of course, Cuba didn't really threaten us, so defensively, I can't say he did so much. But I think that his decision-making on the ball, when to play the diagonal, when to play into midfield, when to break that midfield line to all the way to Antonio, that he did really good decisions there in the first match. In the second match now, I think he was culpable. Now that I watch back the game again on the goal, I think, Bernard was a bit too far ahead of the front post, which made Pinnock kind of have to deal with the player behind Bernard and the player behind him. And of course, the player behind Pinnock is the one who got the through pass. And I was saying earlier, I had actually called into, I think, JT's program, and he was talking about Pinnock and how bad he was in the game last night. And I just called in to say, yo, you're crazy. Like, I don't agree with that at all. I didn't see that he was so bad in the game. I think he made a poor pass that almost created a goal, which for me would knock off a point off of his score. And then I think on the goal itself, with the player now that I've watched it again and really paused it and looked at it again and made my own VAR line, he was actually onside on that play. So, earlier today, I was saying it was offside, so I wasn't knocking off a score. I will take off another 0.5 off of what I would have given him. So that's 1.5 off his overall score in that second game. So the first game for me, I would give him a 7, probably a 7.5. I don't think he didn't have to do so much to where you have to give him a really high score. So I'll say a 7.5. Now in that second game, for me, if you take away the bad pass, which created a goal scoring opportunity, which to me takes off like 1 point or at least 0.75 or whatever, and then you count the bit of a lull on the goal for me, because I don't think he kind of played the distance quite right. Because for me, if you can see the player in front of you, you should leave a little more distance between yourself and that player, to me, because it's easier to react to a player in front of you or make up ground on a player in front of you. Once that ball gets behind you now and you have to turn and run, or you lose contact or eyesight with the ball, it's going to slow down your ability to react. And so for me as a defender, I'm going to always give myself space with the player in front of me, as opposed to not being as close to the one behind me, or at least close enough to where I can jump and head out a ball that's heading towards him. So I think he didn't get his distance quite right there, and the forward was smart in that after his first touch he didn't turn and try to shoot, which was Pinnock thought he was going to do, because if you notice, Pinnock just runs directly to the goal line, because Blake is attracted to the ball. Bernard is basically too far ahead of the play at this point, trying to get back. So, a couple of things he could have done better on that play. So for that reason, I would have given him a 9 in the Honduras game without that play and the bad pass. So I would bring him down to a 7.5 for the Honduras game. So for me, 2 7.5s for Ethan Pinnock in my book for the both games. Let me check in with the chat now, because I'm going to try to make sense. I know you guys can't all give a long speech like I do, but that's fine. I'll still look at the scores. So I think, okay, so Drew Ross, I think this is for Pinnock, because even though I never saw you do one for Blake, so maybe this is for Blake, I don't know. But no, I think this is for Pinnock. 7 and 8.5. All right, cool. So Drew Ross says 7 and 8.5. DJ Geek said, bless up. Eddie Gooner said 8 and 7. So 8 for Cuba and 7 for Honduras for Pinnock. All right. Jamaican Gooner was the first one. Really? Well, that name they stick, brother. Jamaican Gooner Billman nickname. 2-1 USA now. 8 first game. Defender didn't have much, but the pass but he passed the ball well. 8.5 second game, made key play, but almost gave away the game. Yeah, that's what kind of bring him down for me to the 7.5. I think on the goal, him could have done a little better. And I think also on that pass into the middle of the midfield, almost gave up a goal. Blake saved him there. Cranky Live said 8.5 and a 6 for Honduras. Wow. So Cranky Live didn't think he did as much in the game as I did. So a 6. Interesting. Okay, so you're bringing down the Honduras. They say after you hear the speech, you have to go correct it a little bit. Pinnock against Cuba, 11 of 13 from long passes. That's impressive. That's impressive. I know one of those that didn't work was like 2 feet from being perfect for Lembikisa. And he would have been in for a cross. J. Ross said 8 and 6. So J. Ross similarly thought that the Honduras performance was down. Okay. No, I know it's for the games, but I wasn't sure if you were doing Blake because I never saw one for Blake. But now that I see the numbers 7 and 8.5, I'm assuming even though Blake did better in the second than the first, it could be Blake as well. But I'm thinking it's Pinnock. But you'll probably tell me now. Does anyone know if Pinnock know how to slide tackle? No, I don't believe so. The man don't believe in it, none at all. There was a play actually in the Cuba game where he's running over. Or was it no, it wasn't the Cuba game, it was the Honduras game. And he's running over like outside towards the edge of the box. And the player from Honduras slide into him and him just kind of stand up. And he actually won the ball from him, but it went out for a goal kick. And I was like, yo, that would have been the perfect time for him to actually slide, you know? But him never do it. No, depend that Blake 6 and 7.5, Pinnock 7.5 and 7. Okay. That's kind of low. So DJ Gigs draw down the average. So might have to bring Blake to a 9, you know, based on the chat, you know. I think 9.5 a little high. So right now the chat and myself are the exact same scores for Blake. But Pinnock is a bit different now. I think Pinnock going to get a lower score from the chat than me. Because we have the 6s in there. Eddie Gooner say 8 and 7. Drew Ross bring it up to a 8.5. Could have been better, said J. Ross. Yeah, agreed. I think he was equally good in both games. 7.5 for both. You know, I think he could have done things better in both of the games, actually. But I think he was solid in both. You hear that, Rob Smith? You know, dep on that. Bless up at Chile. What go on? 7.5 for Blake. You got to ignore that. We say, what for every player going to have an outlier score that can't really drag it, eh? Well, we can't ignore it still. What for the people have spoken, you know? So for Pinnock, you know, Bianconeri boss, so I go on. Decide to move away. Do South France. Not even pre what them doing in the next one. Actually say 8 and 7. Alright, so Pinnock. So Pinnock basically look like him getting higher scores for Cuba match for the most part. And I have them about the same. Yo, get it, Bianconeri boss. Drop a score them for the ball of them. Ethan Pinnock in a few game them. Cuba score first, then Honduras score. All right, so right now, you know, people, it look like Pinnock get a 7.5 for Cuba. Call it to a 8. We say if the defender gets blamed for the goal, the keeper should also. I mean, the keeper couldn't do much, because him play the ball back to Ruiz. Bernard try cut it out, but when him cutting it out, him kind of push it even better towards where Ruiz are run. And then by the time Blake go down for try to do anything, him just toe poke it in the corner. Time could have easily toe poke that in the middle part of the goal and Blake stop it or Pinnock stop it or, The only thing would I say about Pinnock is like him kind of run, and in the moment it's kind of hard to know exactly where to stand up, but him kind of stand up directly behind where Blake would have stopped the ball. So in other words, him never really make the goal smaller for the player. But it all happens fast still. It all happened fast. 7-7. Blake 7-8. All right. Cool. So, all right. So it looked like for the Honduras game, Pinnock get about a 7 from the crowd. That seemed about like it. He did have a few sixes. So is it a 6.5? All right. I think it's a 7. It's a 7 for Pinnock. First game, I think he got about a 7.5. When you factor in everybody. To a 8. So I'm going to say 8. All right. So next up, people. One that always make people have strong opinions. I don't know what it is about this player, But the head of state, Damion Lowe. What you have to say about his performances, people? Damion Lowe started both matches, played the full 90 in the first match, played the opening half in the Honduras match. I think in the Cuba game, he was good defensively, pretty much cleaned up a lot of dangerous things that would have happened on that Cuba's left-hand side. Dexter was playing very high in the game. Some people say he didn't have the energy to get back. I just think that it was the tactic because it was happening too often. Well, it didn't really happen that often, but basically that was the outlet. Whenever they did attack, it usually came down that side first and then maybe filtered back to the right, but it started on that left side in that space behind Dexter. Then, when the few times when they did try to play it long down that channel, Lowe would run over, handle the situation, play it back to Blake, and we reset for the most part. So thought he was good. I thought at times in the first game when it wasn't necessary, he was trying to play, like a line. Oh, 2-all, Mexico now joke with them. Yo, this match crazy right now, 2-all. Mexico equalize again. Yeah, so I thought in that first game, right, there was one play in particular, right? I think we won the ball in midfield. And I want to say it was like Casey Palmer or Demarai Gray maybe passed the ball back to Lowe, and he controlled the ball. There was just one player like running about to try to challenge him or press him, and he had a pass. Wouldn't have been so risky, like a diagonal pass to like Casey Palmer, I want to say. And he decided not to play that pass. Went long. Well, didn't really go long, just kicked the ball really towards the halfway line. And almost everybody, because I saw him talking to someone in front of him, I saw him turn around and talk to Blake. So all of them were like saying, yo, what that for? Why? And him just say, yo, I'm not take the risk, And while I appreciate, the pragmatism, I don't want to make no mistake and thing. It just, the temperature of the game was never like that. So it's like, even in the moments of calm, because he had a lot of plays in that first half against Cuba around that kick out, where he might have been pressed a little and he just, made a touch to get out of pressure. or to make the angle for the pass better and made the pass. He was doing that really well in the first game, in the first half. And then head just take him on that one play. So it's just a reminder, but I thought he was good though in the first game. Like I said, just a few times when maybe he wants to make a playmaker type of play, when just get the ball to those who, we already said we don't have any, but we do have some that are better than others at it, and we don't want to give them the ball to do it, So just keep the ball moving, Damion. When you keep it simpler, I think you do better. And for the most part on the ball in this window, you kept it pretty much simple, and I think that's why you were more effective in this window, with the ball at your feet, which is, I don't think most people don't really fault your defending, or maybe they do fault certain aspects of your defending, like they say you're a little bit too rash and things of that nature. You get too many cards and too many cautions. But I think all in all, defending is not really what you get cussed for. It's mainly how you distribute your distribution and things of that nature. So I think I saw a much better version of you in this window in that regard. So kudos to you there. Passing accuracy was really good, especially in I think it was the second game. I think he was like he only missed like one pass or something like that in the first half. So against a team that was pressing more. So for me in the Cuba game, I think you deserve a little less than what I would give you in the Honduras game. So for the Cuba game, kept a clean sheet. So I'm gonna say you'll get a 7 in the Cuba game. I think I would give Pinnock a little more than you in the Cuba game, and I gave Pinnock a 7.5. So I'm gonna give you a 7 in the Cuba game, and then in the Honduras game, even though you only played a half, I think you deserve a 7.5 for just that half. If you had played the whole game and continued in that vein, then you'd be up there in the 9 region. But since you only played 45 minutes, I can't really give you all the way to the 8. All right. So, but I think you played really well in this window, and because yeah, so I'm going to give you a 7 and a 7.5. Again, impressive, I thought, in this window compared to some of the performances that we've seen from you lately in the center back role. I remember one time, especially, I think it was the window with, I think it was Haiti and Honduras at home. Yeah, that was a tough window for you playing in the defensive line. I remember that window there. So much better this time, I thought. I think there's a bit more calmness in him when Pinnock is playing with him on that back line. I noticed that in this window as well. Maybe the demeanor that Pinnock has is rubbing off on him a little. Why? But, he just seems to not be so panicked for most of the time. Or he did have one moment where his head took him, but other than that, I thought he did well. So a 7 and a 7.5 for Lowe. I thought it was a bit of it wasn't the best time for him to pick up a knock, because he was having one of his better games in that first half. And I would like to believe that if he's in the game for that goal, when the ball, maybe the game just needed that one player to just get on that ball and clear it, like everybody tried to just push a foot, and maybe Lowe comes and gets to that ball somehow before they score it. So I think it was a tough spot to come into the game for Bernard with us getting the goal so early. I don't even know if Bernard is really up to speed of the game when we concede that goal. So yeah, because his defensive reactions and everything got a lot better as the half progressed in that game, Bernard. So yeah, just tough there. But I think Lowe did really well for himself in this window. If he can keep that level of calmness on the ball, the way he defends in this region, where that aggression and that, I think Damion Lowe is at this point a Concacaf veteran. So, maybe, who knows, maybe late in his career he gets some more benefit of the doubt calls, just because, he's been around and he would know a lot of these refs at this point, and you know what I mean? So you never know, people, you never know. And again, playing with Pinnock, maybe you can see there's another, he can rein in some of that madness, because Damion Lowe, I think, can make challenges where it's not reckless and still be strong, because we've seen him do it a few times in the recent games. So maybe he's learning, people. Maybe he's learning. But I like what I see, head of state. Keep it up. Keep it up. Low 7, and we all don't know how we would look in the second half of the game. True. So I say I can't really score him. Rob Smith said 7.5 first game was solid, second game 9. He was excellent. Lost a point for chasing. Yes. Thank you for saying that play, Rob Smith. I could have maybe given him an 8 for real in that one half because he was so good. But that play was egregious. So it was really and truly like their first time attacking us. And the striker Lozano came into the half space like a number 10 space, and Lowe kind of followed him into the space. He controlled it. I think Lowe expected him to turn and face. So he was kind of closing him down for when he turned. And he didn't turn, he just controlled it and knocked it wide. So Lowe, because he was already running that way, just turned direction and started running towards where he passed the ball to block the cross. But there was so much distance for him to make up. Lowe has run past his defensive midfielder, run past Amari Bell to go and block a cross on the right wing of Honduras. In the meantime, there are players from midfield, from the right back has run into the center, the 18-yard box. The central attacking midfielder Ruiz has run into the 18-yard box, and Palma is running into the box from the left wing. So they have 3 players running into the box. Now, Amari Bell is outside of the box because he was going to go and close down the man who got the ball. But then he sees Damion Lowe running past him, so he kind of stands up and dresses back, but he's in no man's land, basically. Now, Pinnock, who is in the box still, but now has 2 runners headed towards him. He's running towards them, trying to get to one of them. His partner is no longer behind, is no longer in the box. Greg Lee sees what's happening and is trying to sprint to get into the box to close down because he's worried about Palma behind him. And it was a crazy play, but the guy put the header over. But I don't know. It's just these moments. He had the moment when he kicked away the ball against Cuba. He had that moment in the first half against Honduras where he just ran all over the place trying to win the ball. So just positionally, just be a little bit more, yeah, man, just relax. But good point, Rob Smith. I meant to, that was a talking point that I wanted to definitely talk about. So thank you for saying that. Had Chili say Damion Lowe 7 and 8. All right. Some might not agree, but he proved he can play it out the back. Playing CDM make him a better CB to me. I don't know if he was playing CDM, but he definitely looked better playing out the ball. I must say, you can't go around it. BX Gunner 81, bless up. Say Bailey and Greenwood in ASAP. All right, maybe. Bless up Jason Gooner. Bless up Nitro. Wagwan. Cranky said Low. Cuba 7.5, 5 of 11 long passes. Honduras 9.99. So Cranky gave him 1,000. Or that's a point. All right, so 10. 7 and 7 said Bianconeri. All right, yeah, I was somewhere around there, but I think him deserve a little bit more for the Honduras, even though him just played a half. He played like that with Liam Moore too. Really? I'll have to go back and watch that game. Liam Moore, I always remember Liam Moore running back towards the goal when he play for we. 7 and 9 for Crazy Yardy. 7.5 for Honduras is crazy. It's just 45 minutes though, Crazy Yardy. He never played the second half. That's why I'm going to give him 7.5. 6.5 and 8.5. Okay, 6.5 and 8. So I'm probably knock off the 0.5 for the halftime. You know what? Uno convince me. Him deserve the 8. Because him could have get all at 8.5 in the first half. But that one play there knock off a 0.5. I'm sorry. Man run well left the whole box for them score. 7 and 9 for Father Bling. All right. 2021 they made a good combo in the Gold Cup. Okay. That was the Gold Cup when Bobby Reid did score the first game and then get COVID. All right, so let me pre-Damion Lowe score them now. So 7.5 and a 9. 7.5 and a 10. 7 and 8, say hot chili, 7 and 9. Crazy Yardie, can't believe me give the 7.5. Crazy Yardie, you make me feel bad. I go to a 8. 6.5 and 8. Alright. 7 and 9. Decent game last night for Lowe. 2021 he made a good comeback in the Gold Cup. Alright, so look like the chatter say 7 for the first game. Pretty much that's about the average. Yeah, out of nowhere. And it was so early in the game. Like, I couldn't understand it, bro. And I never watched the game back last night. I watched it back today. So when I watched it back, I was waiting for that play to say, oh, all right. I just wanted there to be some reason why he would have done it. And there really wasn't, other than just over exuberance to win the ball. Eight, 9, 10. All right, so it looked like you guys give him a basically about a 9 in that second game. You know? Banconeri Boss was the lowest second game, give him a 7. But him get a 10, him get a 9, him get a 8. So I would say he gets a 8.5 from the chat for Honduras. That's about right. To a 8.5, a strong 8.5, almost 9. All right, next player played left back both games, played 90 minutes both games as well. Good sign actually for him coming off of his injury to play both games. I think Amari Bell. Look, I think Amari Bell is what he is. He's a solid player. You know, I don't think it's gonna be a case where Amari Bell is giving you 9s and 10s. You know, it's gonna be 6, 6.5, 7. You know, that's pretty much what Amari Bell gonna give you. You know. Cranky said, have to judge him based on time and feel. 96% passing accuracy, 1-4 of duels. Compare his stats to every other player, and it's not close. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how he would have looked in the second half when they had the upper hand. You know, the accuracy might have gone down. You know, that's why I say I can't really. You know, it's one thing to if you're looking at like a player's goals over his career, and you say, well, let's factor in this guy played 2,000 less minutes, you know. But in this case, stats are an accumulative thing. So if he didn't accumulate enough stats or the sample size isn't big enough to adjust something like passing accuracy, then it's tough to give the person, you know, they earn that 10 over what they have done. So you can't, if you play half a game, you can't get a 10. It's just not, you know, unless you scored 4 goals in the first half or you had 3 goal saving tackles in the first half that you played. You know, that's why you can't give a 10 for somebody that played 45 minutes unless there's tangible statistics that it's like he did enough things that were worthy of 90 minutes. And that's not the case. So if passing accuracy is why you would give him a 10, then, you know, sample size is, you know, it's not fair. Yeah, he's just a 7 player. Yeah, look, no disrespect to Amari Bell, but he's gonna just give you solid performances. That's what he's gonna give you. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's gonna give you. No, he has his perspective, and I have mine, and I'm just explaining why I disagree with what like the reason that he gave. In terms of I have to judge him based on time on the field when we're doing like a rating of the player, because you know you start off somewhere, and based on what you do, you go down or you go up. And I just don't think he played long enough to warrant him getting all the way from, you know, the 6.5 where you start or 6 all the way up to a 10. You know, that's all. But he, you know, he gave his reasons as to why. I just disagree with them. That's all. All right. So Amari Bell, I just got through telling you he's a 7 player. In the first game, In the first game, I would say he got a 7. Don't think he did much wrong. Don't think he was asked to get forward either. We kind of stayed in that back three shape with him kind of tucking back most of the time. The few times he got forward and combined with Demarai Gray, they had a pretty good understanding. You know, he underlapped and Gray would take the space, cut inside, whipping a ball that created one of the big chances on the day. Second game now, I think definitely even more so stayed home. I don't think he really ventured forward much in that second game. And he was solid. I mean, you know, I struggle to say he gets lower than a 7 even in the second game. Maybe a 6.5 just to put some difference between the two performances. But I think he's worthy of a 7 for both of them, to be honest. Maybe not so high in the second one. Maybe a 6.5. So I'm going to say 7 and 6.5 for me. I think he was one of the ones that looked a lot different on the ball in Honduras. Just with the added pressure, you know, he saw a few fumbles on the ball, you know, dribbling it out of touch. Just wanting a little more time than you should want. Sometimes when you control the ball, it's not ticking quickly enough. So I think his distribution left a little bit to be wanting. So that's why I knocked him off from the 7 to the 6.5. But I thought defensively he was good for the most part. So yeah, 6.5 for me. 7 and 6.5. Solid player. Not gonna lose you the game. And you know, has a 8 performance in him, but it's not gonna happen, you know, every game. That's for sure. Seven and 7. All right. Wanted to see Russell though. Fair. Exactly when Honduras started pressures, he wasn't on the field. He had a good first half. Okay, so he's still arguing about the Dilo. Bell 7.5 and 7. All right. Yeah, I was thinking I could have gone because I'm thinking that it's like a 0.5 difference between the games, but I'm gonna stick with my 7 and 6.5. Cranky said, don't agree. One half is big enough. No, look, Cranky, I think there are scenarios where it could be the case. Like I said, you know, let's say Messi is coming back from an injury. The coach say you're going to start and play 45 minutes. Him score a hat trick and him get an assist in the first half. Yeah, he would get a 10 because he's done enough in that half. But I'm saying for a defender, it's extremely difficult unless you score 2 goals and you have last man tackle, 1 goal line clearance, and you know, I don't know what else. I don't know what else a defender could do to accumulate stats. You have a 96% accuracy and you play 2 key passes. You know, like then you might get a 9.5 or a 10. But what he did in the first half, you know, accuracy of passing wise, things of that nature, you know, winning duels and whatnot, I don't think it warranted him getting so high. That's all. We just disagree on how much he did in the half. That's what we disagree on. Coach needs to watch the Mexico game with Russell. Yeah. Next up, sports talk. What go on? Big up yourself, you know. Yeah, man. Big up. This man would criticize Pinnock, but never hear him say anything about Lowe from he meet him. No credibility when the fake signature man got caught up in the scandal. He didn't come out to say a word. Chris Smith don't forget anything about anything. Remember that. He remembers everything. I think he might have a little file or something where him does, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Big up. Greg and Bell need to compete for that spot each window. They should know that. Yeah. I think that's what it's gonna be moving forward. I think in the perfect world, the coach finds another right back to push Dexter as well. You see, we saw, well, we'll get to it, but we saw some unorthodox thinking with putting the left footer Greg Lee at right back. I know I heard that he played in Saudi Arabia at right back before, so you know I heard all of that. But you know, it doesn't matter if he did it before. I don't think it is something that lends itself to the most fluidity down that side. There were a few plays where, if he was more comfortable on his right foot, he would have just kept going down that flank, but he always wanted to cut back infield from that side. So yeah, one of the few times he played a ball down the wing to the winger, it was the one touch pass from Dixon to Bobby Reid, and then the rest after that. So, yeah, we'll get to Greg Lee though, but I don't think he was set up very much by the coach to have success. Bell is just a better player. Yeah, I agree, Rob Smith, that Bell is a better player. Some man conflicted, tried to disrespect Antonio, the only legend in the team, and Dixon should start over Antonio. No credibility. Somebody said that Dixon should start over Antonio as the striker. Really? That's rough. Grimmy don't play Russell, and this new coach not playing Russell. Where I play CB ahead of him. He just not it. Yeah, I kind of am wondering what's the Russell deal for real, because it's too many coaches. It's too many coaches, It's too many coaches. Yeah, that's what I heard. It was in Saudi Arabia when he played his first game for us, and he played right back. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I believe it that it happened, but I have just seen the player play so many times. And when players are left-footed, there are some that are just like super left-footed. Like they literally everything they do, it's going back to the left, like everything. And most left-footed players are like that, There's very few that are left-footed that don't look super awkward when they use their right foot. Not to say they can't use it, but it's just not natural. Yeah, Father Bling, that conversation, the Greg and Amari conversation, I will always say Amari edges that one for me. Always. Always. All right, so moving right along, Amari Bell, let me see. 7.57, 7. Okay, so people basically saying the 7. So I'm going to say 7 and 7 for Amari from the chat. All right, Dexter Lembikisa only played one game, so we don't have to give him a rating for the Honduras game, obviously. But Dexter Lembikisa, one game versus Cuba. I think Dexter Lembikisa Cranky said, Chris Smith says this on every program, on every channel. Tired comments, move on. Yeah, Chris Smith he's consistent. Very, very consistent. That is for sure. That is for sure. Didn't make some of the changes. Dixon never play a minute of pro football. Russell playing every week in the same league. Yeah, that's true when you look at it that way. But Russell wasn't going to go on and play right wing. So, that's the difference though, Chris. What position was Russell playing? Was Russell going to come on for where Dixon came on? Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? He was poor. Why is he not on loan? 6. So that's Dexter Lembikisa. Yeah, I am very upset with how Wolves dealing with him, honestly, because they sent him out on loan twice last year. They had a right back crisis in the league to start the season. He's nowhere to be found close to the first team. Back to the U21s after playing big man football last year. So yeah, it didn't make sense. I thought he had, I would say I recall one play where he kind of really affected the play. It was the cross that Demarai Gray in the end got the shot saved in the box. He did create that cross to send it across. But other than that, I thought he looked leggy. I know he has that languid running style that looks like he's always tired, but this time it looked like he was actually tired. And I don't fault him. I don't think he has had the best preparation for this window in terms of football and minutes on the pitch. So I'm not going to kill him too much for the performance. And I think the coach was smart in not playing him in the second game. I don't think his legs would have survived. So while it was unorthodox to play Greg Lee at right back, I actually respect the coach's decision, because I think the way he saw it was, it's better if I put a left foot man that can run on the right back side rather than pressuring this youth who clearly might not have the 90 minutes or even the 45 minutes left in his legs. So yeah, that's one thing that I gave the coach some marks for in my grades, because I thought while it was a head scratcher, to the football purists, it, when you looked at the personnel, the makeup of the personnel, not wanting to move Joel out of the midfield and put him to right back, the only obvious choice other than playing a centre back over there would have been to just play Greg Lee at right back, since he's already a full back, and that's what he did. So, while it was unorthodox, I think it was actually something that worked, because I think Palmer, for as tricky as he was, he was at least, left a little pockets of minutes when he was doing big damage. It wasn't like a constant thing. I think a part of that was just Greg Lee's strength on certain plays. Anytime Greg Lee was able to get tight enough in terms of the distance between, not letting him get that running start, I think he was able to just use his power and strength to just kind of ease him out of some challenges. So Dexter Lembikisa, me personally, so just doing Dexter and Greg, since they both played one game. So Dexter, for me, the Cuba game, I'm gonna say he gets a 6. As I said, I don't think he was like poor. I think a lot of people were beating him for getting, the winger on that wing, getting in behind him. But I feel like the tactic was for him to be high and wide on the right. Jamal Lowe was playing on the right hand side, but he really and truly was going infield into more number 10 spaces to try to get in between the lines to connect with Antonio and Bobby Reid and Casey Palmer. So he was providing that with high. I think that's why it looked like he was always beat on that side. It was kind of a tactic. I think Greg Lee in that second game, a lot of the times when he had trouble, I thought it was just because he was just not comfortable having to turn and use that right foot when it was required. So whenever he got into trouble, it was really just him trying to get back to his comfortable foot and being caught in possession a bit. So, he was kind of set up for that to happen to him in a way. But at the end of the day, if you're an international footballer, you should be able to just, have the courage and confidence to use whatever foot, because you have both of them on you. So just use it, you know what I mean? But I think defensively he did well. As I said, I think Palmer is their most dangerous player as far as a winger is concerned. So I think he kept him relatively quiet, as I said. Definitely, I think Palmer has played games where he was much more of a factor. So I would like to give Lee a bit of credit for that. So for that reason, I think because he had a direct opponent against him that was, potentially a cause of concern, I'm going to say Greg Lee gets a 6.5 on the day, a little bit better than Bell for me, on that right back role. Actually, no, I think they're about the same. So I'm going to give him a 6. So a 6 for Greg Lee for me. Did well though. Is a 6 harsh though? 6 look harsh, 6.5. All right, let me see what the chatter say. J. Ross says 6. Rob Smith says 6. Cranky said, by the way, Chris, unlike you, I call out my friends in public. If I have an issue with them, I tell them to their faces. I am a friend, not a frenemy. Now get a life and stop referring to me. All right. Putting foot down there. So this is an example, people, of if you're having a discussion and it gets a bit out of hand with someone in the chat. I don't see him call him anything. I don't see him call him a name. This is just a direct comment to someone. So this to me is fair game. Jason Gooner, I think Wolves probably want too much money for Dexter. Remember, it's a business. That could be the issue, But at the end of the day, didn't they get him from the academy? They didn't buy him. They didn't you know what I mean? So it's a straight profit thing, is it not? Or let me know. He was up against the best player from the Cuba team. That is true, Hernandez. But I mean, was he really? Yeah, he was. He was enough times. Father Blink said Dexter looks unfit, 5.5. For me, looks beat before halftime. Yeah, he did look tired. Rob Smith said, I'm giving too much credit for the Lee at right back. I'm sure I just pick two right backs. Father Bling, he can play right back. I like him more at centre back though, honestly. But he can play right back. Could have dropped Hector or King for a right back. Absolutely. Hector, King, Bernard, Lowe, Pinnock, Latibeaudiere knowing that he's not going to play a back three is crazy. So it's too many. Bless up float. What go on? Cranky, I have a life. I can say what I want. I'm not looking friends. Unlike you want interviews, so you can't keep it real. Wow. Okay. So that's the thing. If you're getting interviews, you must not speak truth anymore. By the way, Chris, from now on, any stream you're on, I will vacate. You're beyond the line. Oh, come on, Cranky. Billman, just focus on the others. There's more than just Chris here. Greg was a 6. Difficult situation. If not Campbell, he would have been worse. Cranky people like you are the worst types. You sell your soul. Damn. Really? That's the read you have on Cranky, that he will just switch it up for anything. I don't know, man. I don't know. But a one game Lee play. Lee never played the first game. So give him a 7 for Cuba. Well, the man is really skillful. If him play a Cuba game and me never see him. So the chatter say no. So basically Greg get a 6 too. Look like Chris Smith say Hector, Dixon, Campbell out. Man, shoot them out of the team. All right, so the next player, people, only played 45 minutes in this window. It was the second half versus Honduras, which was probably the toughest half we faced. Well, not probably, was the toughest half we faced in the window. And that is Deshaun Bernard. So Deshaun Bernard came on at halftime, did not play against Cuba. Just done play some ball. Mad. Hopefully stitch up some net. Or if you defended, you didn't let them stitch up your net. So it looked like Dexter get a 6 from the crowd as well. And Greg Lee get a 6. All right, cool. So Deshaun Bernard, people. Let me know. Deshaun Bernard, what I say about the second half? As I say, upon the goal, he could have done better. He could have done better upon the goal. And if I'm going to base it off of what I've given people so far against Honduras, I gave Pinnock a 7.5. Him can't get more than him. I gave Lowe a 8. Him can't get more than him. I think he should get just about what Amari Bell and Greg Lee get, which is a 6.5. So I would say Bernard get a 6.5. Because I think after that initial play, when I think he was a bit slow to react once the ball went in behind the defense, I think he grew into the game and he was very good clearing the ball in the air, very good in the challenges, in the duels. Didn't really waste the ball too many times. I know he forced a pass into, I think, Antonio that got picked off, and it ended up in them getting a counter attack. Well, not a counter attack, but attacking us for a bit, but didn't really come to anything too crazy. I think other than that, he was solid. 6.5 I would give him. As I said on the goal, I thought he could have done a bit better. Just a little slow to react. I think a byproduct of him just, second half sub, maybe not all the way fully in tune with the pace of the game yet. So yeah, 6.5 I think is fair for Deshaun Bernard. I do think though, if I'm being honest about Bernard's performance as well, it seemed as if something went missing without the presence of Lowe. And this is strange to say, but without the presence of Lowe, when we were building out against the pressure, it just seemed like Bernard wasn't quite... It seemed like Bernard had less time on the ball than Lowe, if that makes sense. I don't know if... It seemed to me like I don't know. Bernard wasn't quite taking up the right position when he was receiving the pass. Like he maybe should have went deeper, or it just seemed like he didn't have the same angles to play out the passes like Lowe did in the first half. And I don't know, couldn't quite put my finger on what the reason for that was, but it just seemed like he didn't quite seamlessly get into the game, which is probably hard to want him to do. It's not that easy, but yeah, I just think he grew into it. He needed to grow into it, and he did. But the early part was shaky enough to for me give him about a 6.5. Yeah, so a 6.5. Thought he got better as the game wore on, and he needed to, because we needed to be solid towards the end, and he had some good headed clearances in that final part of the game. So I'll give him that 6.5. All right, Joel Latibeaudiere now. This is another player that divides opinion amongst Reggae Boyz fans. I'm telling you, people don't know whether him should never play CM again, CDM again. Him should be a right back. Him can only play C center back if it's a back three. I mean, there's so many opinions about this player. So many opinions. Bless up fan of mine at Wagwan. So Bernard, let me see what the chat said about Bernard. 7 gig, 6.5, 6.5, 6. All right, so basically the chat and myself agree with Bernard's assessment, 6.5. So me and the chat not that far off for most of these. Some of them were even the same. All right, so next player, Joel Latibeaudiere. So we're into the midfield now. Joel Latibeaudiere. So Joel Latibeaudiere for me, I pretty much banished him in my mind from the midfield for, I'd say before and during probably the Nations League games last year. So like when we played Honduras, Haiti, and what was the other team we played? Was it Grenada? I forget the other team we played, but those games is when I was like, all right, I'm cool with I'm not cool with Joel Latibeaudiere in midfield. My problem with Joel, right? I think he's technical enough to play there. It's not about ability for me. For me, it's just direction change. I don't think he scans well enough before receiving. So, most of the time when you receive at CDM, if you are facing your own goal, like literally facing your own goal, you have to have that mental picture in your head, which direction you wish to turn. And I think he sometimes receives and then wants to figure out which direction to turn after the first touch. And sometimes the position requires you to know that before you take the first touch. So for me, the scanning, the turning, different directions when receiving the ball, not his strong suit. So what I saw McLaren put in place that I thought was effective was he made the game simpler for Latibeaudiere when receiving from Blake. So he said, listen, whichever angle have the better angle, whether it's one time to Pinnock if you go this way, one time to Lowe if you go this way, just use that. Don't worry about taking that second, third touch. Just play it one time. I think when he did that, he stayed out of trouble. In the Cuba game, he wasn't under as much pressure, so he did have the ability to turn. He didn't have to scan and see which way. He just turned because he had space. In the Honduras game, if you notice, he probably never actually turned on the ball unless he was just totally free. It was always one touch, played back to Blake, one touch, played back to Pinnock, one touch, played back to Lowe. It was pretty simple. And on the rare occasion when he would combine with Palmer or Reid, it was probably because they were literally like 2 yards from him and he just laid it after them or something like that. So, but I thought in the first game, pretty much broke up everything. Anytime Cuba did anything or was about to do anything, he was the one that just stopped them from doing it and would get back the ball. So really good there in the first game. Second game, it wasn't as easy to do so against a team like Honduras because I think they were a bit smarter in possession. So, if he did get tighter, they would let it off faster than the Cubans were. So he couldn't really affect the game as much in that sense. But I still feel like his positioning, especially when he gets really deep into the box, he just has that center back instinct. So you see some crucial blocks from him inside the box and things of that nature. But I think the next level for him is just still having the confidence when we're being pressed to demand getting the ball, be an option, even if it's just a decoy option to just draw and create space for your other midfielders. I think that's what sometimes I think, and it happens really when he gets tired, to be honest. He's just not as willing to do the extra movement to get into a space where he could receive the ball. So, I know I said a lot about Joel, but I'll rate him now. The Cuba game, I think he deserves a really good mark in the Cuba game. Personally, I'm gonna say I'd give him a 7. Don't think he can get that 7.5 so far, but I would say a solid 7. And in the second game for me, I think he probably deserves a 6.5. I'll say a 6.5 in the second game. I was thinking maybe even a 6, but I still feel like he did enough in that defensive sense side of things. He could have, for his defensive exploits, gotten a 7.5 or an 8. But I think some of his areas that he made mistakes in, I have to knock the score a bit. He lost a ball, luckily ricocheted back to us. Lost another one that, could have been deemed a foul after the player won the ball, but the ref didn't see it as such. It went back to Blake. So yeah, he had a couple of flaky moments on the ball, I thought, that kind of brought his score down. But I think defensively he was very good. Very, very good, very good, very good. But I do like his attitude in the midfield is good. Doesn't back down from challenges. Pretty much every game him get into it with one of the other players, have a little argument on the field. So yeah. I think Rob Smith called him what, light skin syndrome. J. Ross says 7.5 and 6.5. So close. 7 and 6.5 McGee. Joel is a must in the team. Dejan Sterling would do a better job in the middle. Yeah, Dejan Sterling, man. I would love to know what's the deal with his paperwork. Cause I was watching him like in a last season when they were talking about him just to see. And I guess the only problem is I've never really seen him play midfield. Every time I've ever watched him play, he's playing right back, left back, right midfield, or left midfield. So, but based on how he plays, I am sure he could play the position because he's a lot more, he's a lot more of a what do I call it now? Like Latibeaudiere to me don't have that quick burst and change of pace. Not that Sterling is like a tricky player like that, but he looks to me like he's a bit more agile on the turn. Here's another goal for USA. Oh, she put it wide. That was to go 3-2. Damn. So they scored and got disallowed USA, but it looked like the man almost score again. I don't rate USA captain, but USA rate her. She play every game, all the minutes. Joel 7. Say I give him 7 for the 2 game them, Chris. All right. 7 and 7 for Lati. All right. He's not that slick and him not too rough. If he pay attention, he'll be deadly. All right. Short respect. Remember, Joel never play midfield until he come Jamaica. That's not true. That's not true. He played some CDM at I don't think he played at Swansea. He always played wing back or centre back at Swansea. But from he went to Coventry, he got some reps in midfield. I mean, it's not like all the time, but he played some. Lucky 7 and 6.5. Yeah, I agree with that, Geeks. He's originally a CB. When he went to Swansea, the coach there put him at right back. That's where he played right back the first time. Yeah, man, me know. He played CB in the U17 World Cup. I know. Lati's at 8 and 7.5. So Father Bling giving the ratings a nice boost. When Coventry signed Joel, do you know why the coach? He said he wanted a ball playing CB, and he's a very good ball playing CB. Agree. I think he's a very good distributor from centre back. Very good when he can see the entire field in front of him and not have to turn and go another direction, like what I said when he plays midfield. Chris Smith, I can't bother look at transfer market right now, but I can find you when his debut for Jamaica was. And when he first came to Jamaica, he was playing right back for Jamaica. And I remember when Hallgrimson put him in the midfield for the first time. And when he did, he actually had played CDM for Coventry because they played like a 4-2-3-1 at the time. And he was playing one of those two in the midfield. Yeah, look, even Hallgrimson, even what's his name, say he's not a midfielder, and he said he wasn't gonna put square thing in square peg in round hole, but I guess he might chip away at the square peg and make it a round because he's putting him in the damn midfield. So clearly he sees something in there, and so did his coach at Coventry because they still put him there. No, I know, but remember he played that game and never came back for a while, because they played that game in, where was it? Catalonia. We never see him again for a while till the Gold Cup camp. That's the next time we saw him again. And is in that Gold Cup camp when we played Jordan and whatever that we see Latibeaudiere playing midfield for the first time. Okay, so it's after he left the World Cup, the Gold Cup, he went to Swansea. Well, then it's Swansea me attack when we see him play midfield to then. Because Swansea sometimes used to play like a 3-4-3 type of thing. If they never played a 4-2-3-1. But me check it again still. But I'm almost certain we play a few games. So Hallgrimson was the first coach to ever do it. That's what you tell me. Man, pull some teeth and do that. Alright, so Joel Latibeaudiere look like him get about 2-7. I know Gigs, somebody did nice it up and put some more 8 and 7.5 Father Blink say. Different aspects and abilities of a player depends on what you're looking for in that player's position. True. All right, so we have Joel Latibeaudiere. So you say Hallgrimson can't take the credit for that. It was the assistant coach. Which one? John Wall was an assistant then, Are you talking your favorite coach that is still an assistant from then till now and ever since? Let me know. All right, so Joel L. The chat saying, I'm going to say the chat saying 7.5 and 7. A little bit better than what I said. All right, KCP now. KCP. So Casey Palmer, I think probably I would say his best window since he's been coming. What do you guys agree with that? Casey Palmer's best window since he's been here. Give me the scores. I think for Casey, for the Cuba game, I'm going to say Casey Palmer got an 8. Thought he was probably the best outfield player. So I'm going to give him an 8 for the first game. And in the second game, I'm going to say he gets a 7. Wasn't quite as influential in the second game, but I thought he did have some crucial plays actually on both sides of the ball in the second one. Some good defensive breakup interception type of tackles and stuff. Create, I wouldn't say it was a big chance, but picked off a pass out of defense, found Antonio, took a shot that was dangerous to the far post. Involved in most of the build-up plays that looked slick or sleek in any way. He probably was one of the triggers that got the ball to the wingers or to the forward. So was heavily involved in most of the good build-up plays that we saw. One thing I would say, if the coach is going to persist with this kind of Latibeaudiere, Casey Palmer, Bobby Reid, they really have to be in tune as far as which one shows, because I think where we got in trouble against Honduras at times was the back line really needed that second option in midfield besides Joel, and I don't think Palmer or Reid decided fast enough sometime which one was going to really show to the defenders. I think they did a much better job of doing that against Cuba when the pressure wasn't as strong. And as they progress, and if they're going to continue with this system and this style, they're going to have to really get a better idea of which one of them show, which one of them go, which one of them show. As I said, they did it a lot better in the first game, and I think a part of that was just it was a bit clearer when to go because Cuba just wasn't really blocking many lanes. Honduras had a much better press. It was more organized, and they were they made a concerted effort to try to win the ball, or just were more aggressive in general trying to get the ball back. So as they continue to get that partnership growing, if that's what they're going to go with again, that's what I'll be looking to see against teams that do happen to press us. But we'll see how Honduras approaches it when they come to the national stadium. They might let us have the ball a bit more, and then maybe those roles can be better defined, who's dropping deeper to kind of build a play on this particular pattern, because it looked like they were taking turns. None of them were really staying up or staying back. So they just have to make sure that they're in sync, because if we do happen to lose the ball in the build-up phase, two of them might be forward, and then Latibeaudiere is under pressure trying to block too many channels by himself. So 8 and 7 for me for Casey Palmer. Bobby Reid, I think he was maybe a little bit I don't know, it's tough because in the second game Bobby Reid created a few chances. He had the set piece that Pinnock had pretty much a point back blank header around the penalty spot that he could only head right to the keeper. I think he had another cross that was dangerous too, but I can't remember who happened in the St. Honduras. I know he had two good crosses, but I can't remember what happened on the second one. But I think Reid was also culpable for losing the ball a bit in the Honduras game. I thought him and Latibeaudiere more than others. It seemed like Honduras was triggered on them. Once they received the ball, they wanted to really press them. Casey Palmer, they tried to as well, but I think a couple of times he was able to turn, and it kind of eased off the pressure on him a bit. It felt like they weren't trying to win it so much off of Casey as much as the other ones, Bobby and Joel. Like the coach had told him, like, these two are the ones to try to nick the ball from. But yeah, I think Bobby Reid, always puts in a shift. Can never doubt that. Little things too, like the ball breaks to a guy on the top of the box, and someone is running to slide and try to block it. Then when you see the replay, the shot didn't come to anything. Nobody will ever talk about it, but it was Bobby Reid that ran and did that. So little things like that. If you're really watching the game, you see like Bobby Reid does matter out there on the pitch. But I do think he could have done better with the ball. In the Cuba game, that he had some opportunities to really play in people and just wasn't really coming off perfectly for him. So for me, I'm gonna say he got a 7 in the Cuba game, and for the second game, I'm gonna say he should get a little less than Casey Palmer. So I'm gonna give him a 6.5 in the Honduras game. So 7 and 6.5 for Bobby. No, next up we have Demarai Gray people. So while I talk about Demarai, I'll go and look 8.5 and 7, says J. Ross. Smith, Casey Palmer get an 8. Palmer was good in England U20 and U21, so I always knew he was a very good player. Big man thing, you're live, a clash with Ryan live, you have to start come on earlier or later. Yeah, Energy 876. I could not forward later tonight, bro. I wasn't going to make it. I'm already even feeling like, bro, I run out of energy if go through the rest of the player them, to be honest. But we're gonna stick through same way. I don't know. Energy, the good thing is, even if I don't get the numbers on the live coming over Ryan, obviously, nighttime show a theme thing, so people already know for Dede. But my content is definitely a watchable anytime content because a lot of information we're going through, right? Ryan is more, in the moment, live call-ins, things of that nature. So Ryan thing is not a competition thing. So, but over same way energy say Ryan show a go on. So obviously most of the people them are there over there, but it's all good. The people them watch my show when them get a chance, man. Yeah, man, my numbers will move as the day go by. The days go by. People are gonna want to know what I have to say about the Nations League. So it's all good. All I have to say is we need to be more physical in the middle. Yeah, it's like he's gone all the way towards ball handling in the midfield, and the balance maybe isn't perfect. So we need to kind of tweak that a bit more. I was thinking maybe in the Honduras challenge, or the challenge we would face in Honduras, I thought he might go to one or the other and play Karai as a more ball winning midfielder along with Joel, but still have the technical ability to play as well. But yeah, I was surprised he went with Casey and Bobby. So, and I think defensively they didn't do terribly. I think Casey a bit more getting more aggressive by the game in Concacaf, to me, getting more comfortable in Concacaf. I think Bobby's comfortable there, but maybe not so comfortable in the midfield as yet in Concacaf. But we'll see. We'll see if he sticks with it moving forward. If we can get some reinforcements in midfield moving forward, that'll be the big thing. That'll be the big thing. 7 and 6.5. Agreed. J-Ross say 7.5 and 6.5 for Gray. All right. So Demarai, for me, I'm gonna say he got a 7. And I'm gonna say in the second game, Demarai got a 6. I'm gonna say 7 and 6. I think in the first game, he had a good chance saved, created a big chance for Antonio. Had another, I guess you'd call that left foot one that bounced up on him and he sliced another big chance. So, I mean, 7 might be a bit much even for the first game. But was very successful taking on his man. I don't really remember him stopping him in that first game. Yes, I'm going to say a 7 in the first game and a 6 in the second game for me. Thought in the second game, he lost the ball a few times. Just overdoing it. When he would win the ball back and then instead of just releasing it quickly, try to beat a person and lose the ball, and just didn't quite look his sharpest self in this window. Had plays, I know in the Honduras game in the first half, he beat his marker, got into the box, had a nice cutback, didn't amount to a goal or anything, but looked dangerous there. But yeah, just not all the way consistent for me. All right, so let me see what the chatter say. So Palm might look like get a 8, 9. All right, so it look like Bobby Reid from the chat get a 7.5, and I would say about a 7 for the second game. And Casey get a 8. Yeah, basically Casey get a 8, so same as me. And from the chat, in the Honduras game, look like Casey get a 7.5 or a 7. Maybe a 7. Gray says 6.5 and 7.5 for Gray. J Ross, all right. 7.5 and 6 at DJ Gigs. Yeah, so me say 7 and 6 for Demarai. Look like Casey Palmer get a 7 from the chat as well for the Honduras game. Demarai, I said 7 and 6. Let's see what people saying. 7.5 and 6, 7.5 and 6.5. All right, so it look like the chat basically I give Gray a 6.5. I'll call it a 6.5 for Honduras and a 7.5. Yeah, I agree with this Avis. It's like him realize the aggression level now. We see him, getting into his own challenges, his own little physical battles with people. It's like him say it's just a part of it, Less wondering why the ref never call things. Kind of realize that he don't get every call here. So he still does it a bit. Like him realize, him just can't get it out of him game. But I don't see him doing it as much. I think when he first came, every time he touched the ball, he would turn and ask the ref, like, how they never call that. So I think him realizing you don't really get all the things you think you might get in terms of calls. All right, so it looked like Gray get a 7.5, 6.5 from the chat for his 2 games. All right, next up, people, we have Jamal Lowe. So Jamal Lowe started and played majority of the first game. And in the second game, he came on in about I think it was the 80 82nd minute or so, 83rd minute, something of that nature. Let me see. Just want to see when he actually came on in the game. '84th minute. Yeah, so Jams Low. So first game, don't know why he didn't just finish it one time from the Antonio pass. Then had the cutback that he put over the top. Did flick the ball around the corner that earned the red card as well. Had some good build-up plays, good turns in the half space to kind of start dangerous entries. Didn't really operate as an orthodox winger. Kind of drifted infield for the most part in the build-up phase. So a different alternative to what we saw from Campbell in the second game was more of a right midfielder. I think Lowe was more of a wing forward, almost a central forward at times. Really was just on that right side in defensive phase, which we were very rarely in versus Cuba. So had free roaming space. I think he used that space well to get into dangerous opportunities. Just was not clinical on the day, so his score has to be brought down. So I'm gonna say in the first game, I would give Jamal Lowe 6, probably a 6.5, because I do think his build-up and approach play was really good, but the finishing just brings him down to that 6.5. And then in the second game, I actually thought Jamal Lowe did better in the second game in his cameo. Good defending from the front, blocked a few passes, intercepted them, had a chance, got it on target. Perhaps should have put a bit more venom on the shot. But he forced a save, which forced a rebound that should have been put in. So I'm gonna say, even though he only played 6 minutes, I thought he had a better effect on the game than the however many minutes he played in the first game for me. So you know what? I'm gonna just do the average 6.5. So he came on the pitch with a 6, did enough to get him a 0.5. So I'm gonna say 6.5 for both performances for Jamal Lowe. He's one that divides opinion as well amongst the fan base. And to those detractors of Jamal Lowe, I don't think this window is gonna do enough to change minds. He doesn't need to change mind. I think he's quality. I think he just needs to get more game time with the team and more consistent windows of game time with the team. So I just think as Avis say about Casey adapting to the region, I think Jamal Lowe would be better off just playing, competitive windows over a period of 3-4 times just to, get the true vibes of the whole atmosphere and everything, So 6.5 for both games for me. People might say the 6.5 for the Cuba game with the misses is high, but I just feel like there was more than just his goal scoring chances that he messed up in that game. That his approach play was good. Um, that he combined well with Antonio and those around him, Lembikisa on that right side as well. So, yeah, I thought Jamal Lowe approach play great in the box, not so great. So 6.5 for me and 6.5 in the second one. Now, big bad Michail Antonio. So Antonio did get the penalty that won us the game in Honduras and did miss what I'd say 2 chances or so in the first game as well. Had a chance to lay through Jamal Lowe early in the first game and just put too much on the pass as well. But for me, so 7 and 6 at Jaros. All right. Yeah, I had a feeling that. Yeah, so for me, Michail Antonio, first game, approach play, no issues. Very good. Very good. Hold up the play, get others into play, spin off defenders, cause a red card. But in front of that goal, man, just did not have it. Even had a bread and butter chance for him. I've seen him score this goal from corner so many times. First ball won by his team, comes towards him, he turns, swivels, and volleys it in, heads it in, just gets something on it to get it in the goal. This day, he turns, kicks, and doesn't get anything on the ball. So it's one of those days for him. One of those days for him in that first game. Just was not working out for him in front of goal. Second game, tougher atmosphere, tougher opponent. He plays better. He literally plays better against Honduras. I mean, touch is never going to be the cleanest looking. It's never going to be the most aesthetically pleasing anything. But in terms of effectiveness and knowing what your strengths are and using them, Michail Antonio very good at that. I mean, just once your shoulder hits any part, once his shoulder hits any part of you, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. And he's intelligent. He knows how to draw a foul. He used all that guile that he has, all that experience he has to earn that penalty against Honduras. And I was just happy that we have a striker that for people say he's not clinical, he doesn't score enough. When we had that moment to score a penalty, he wanted the ball and he put it away. So big penalty, big performance in Honduras, hostile environment. He is 34 years of age, but he played pretty much the entire 90 of the first game and 84 of the second, and put in quite a lot of running. I mean, it's not like he was dead after 35, 40 minutes. I mean, he kept running, kept going. So, just keep yourself in shape, Michail. You never know how long. And for right now, while I want you to get some heavier competition for your place, if it doesn't come, we have somebody that we can rely on in that striker role for me personally. So Michail Antonio, first game, the missed chances, have to give him a 6.5. I think his approach play was really good, but the box counts for too much for me. And in the second game, I'm going to say he gets a 8.5. I thought overall his game was really good. Passing, link up, drawing fouls, dribbling past players, holding up play. He pretty much did it all on the day, and he got the goal from the penalty spot to win the game. So 8.5 for me for Antonio in the second one, 6.5 in the first. Let's see what people saying. 7 and 8. So a little bit not as wide a range from Jaros. Respect Jaros, 7 and 8. All right. Shamar Bowes and Nicholson came off the bench in both games. Got a little more time in the first game than the second. Played with Antonio in the first. In the second, it was a straight swap. But Nicholson just looks out of shape, man. Really, really looks out of shape. Looks like he was struggling to turn direction, run. It looked leggy, heavy. Just didn't look so good in neither game for me. First game, he was offside, didn't look sharp, put the ball over the bar. Second game, I just looked a bit off the pace. Just everything he was doing just looked a step slower than what the best version of Nicholson looks like. So yeah, he's struggling, needs to get his club life sorted out. This coach's style, I think, requires the players to even have a little more fitness because we're trying to win the ball out of possession higher up the pitch now. So that requires more running overall by the team. So I think it's going to get really, really important that we pick players that are actually getting opportunities at their clubs, because you could definitely see a difference in those that have been match fit from the season start and those that weren't, So I think Nicholson is one of those that falls in the boat of it's obvious that you're not playing for your club. So Shamar, I think, probably gets a 5.5 for me for the first game, and probably a 6 for the second. I think he at least won some knock-on headers in the second game. So I'll give him that standard 6. But 5.5 for me in the first. I didn't think he affected the game, none at all. Kaheem Dixon didn't really get much time in the first game, so I won't even really give him a rating. The second game, he did play a longer stretch. Looks like he has already started to put on a bit of muscle mass. Looks a little bit bigger than what I remember him looking like in the first time we saw him in the kit. Obviously not all the way there yet. Still has some developing to do in that sense, but I just think that the kid, he's a kid that I just, even though he's not as refined as some of the other players and everything, and you do see the rawness, I can work with it because you can just tell that he's a good kid. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? Humble kid. One of the first to run over and celebrate with Antonio. Just one of the first to come and high five Antonio when he draw the penalty. Just an enthusiastic kid, probably really good for the dressing room. And you can tell that the players probably would. It's the type of player that players wouldn't mind to give advice and talk to and bring under their wing and stuff like that. So, Kaheem Dixon, that don't have nothing to do with the rating, but I just wanted to say that about the young man. Kaheem Dixon, for me, in the second game, I'd have to give him a bit more than what I gave Bowser. So I'm going to say a 6.5 for Kaheem. Did have a hand to play in the build-up to earning the penalty. A couple other times had good endeavor in terms of making the run. Didn't receive the pass, but, showed that speed on the run if he could have got released. And, a couple other times, the decision to pass a square pass with not enough power got cut out. So it wasn't perfect for Kaheem, but it wasn't the worst either. So I'll say a 6.5 because he had a hand in the build-up to the penalty. And then we have Norman Campbell. Came on in the first game. I thought was ineffective, so I'll just give him a standard 5 in the first game. In the second game, he was a bit of an enigma, right? So at halftime, I was saying, boy, if I'm the coach, I'm taking off Campbell at halftime. I know he's giving us a lot of energy and helping Lee out on that side, but I don't really see the threat coming from that left side. So it's not like we need, well, I shouldn't say I don't see the threat coming from that left side because Palmer is over there. But, I thought that I just didn't think he was giving us enough on the ball going forward. He was neat and tidy in possession when he was dropped back and won the ball. He wouldn't lose it in his own half or anything. He would play it back to Blake or to the defenders, and we'd reset. And he was putting in a shift. So, and I did mention that at halftime of my stream. I said, look, I would take him off, but at the same time, I do see where he could play some more because he is putting in a shift at least and putting in a lot of work. And of course, the first time he touched the ball in the second half, he created what became the own goal that gave us the 1-0 lead. So, sometimes as a coach, you have to just have a little more patience than us, the fans, do. McLaren had that patience, and Campbell paid off with that one moment of brilliance in the corner, on the corner flag. So, work rate, ethic, 100 for sure. Went hard. Can't complain there. Quality-wise, left a little bit to be desired at times, but that one moment of brilliance when something comes off, you have to pay it off with a goal action, and he did supply a cross into a very dangerous area with pace, and the defender couldn't cope with it because he could only put it into his own net. So Norman Campbell for creating that. I think I took off some marks for just not being able to beat his man for the most part. I think that might have been the only time all game that he beat Rosales on that wing. But it counted, and it made a goal. So you have to give it a nice boost on its score. So for me, I'm gonna say Norman Campbell got a 7 in that second game, for me, and that's mainly down to that moment of brilliance and work rate and energy and fight work rate, energy, defensive actions. Yeah. Karai Anderson didn't play the first game, played the second. I think he came on in about the 76th minute or so, 77th minute. Put in a very hard tackle. I remember that tackle. I was like, yo, that's what we needed that earlier in the game. But he persisted with Palmer and Bobby Reid, just wanted to keep the ball handlers in there. I think Karai gets a bad rap for his ball handling personally. I think he could also do a role and maybe supply a bit more balance than Bobby Reid. I think Casey Palmer is a bit more similar to Anderson in terms of, like, I don't think instinctually neither one of them are really defensive, but I think they do at least have the ability to put in a challenge. Karai Anderson and Palmer. I think Bobby Reid struggles a little bit, just putting in challenges. That's not really his game. But Karai Anderson, for me, in his cameo, I'm gonna say he was a little bit above average, so 6.5 for me. Wouldn't really give him up to a 7, but thought in his cameo he didn't do much to say, boy, we can never see this kid play again. So that is pretty much it for everyone that played. Coach McLaren, if I'm breaking down his performance over the 2 games, I would say in the first game I'd have to give him about a 6. Actually, no, I'll give him a 7 because I did like the style of play. I did think that the team needed freshening up a little bit earlier, though, especially when it was apparent that the guys on the pitch just weren't having the luck in front of goal. I thought I would have made some changes a bit earlier. Maybe sacrifice Latibeaudiere earlier once we realized that they weren't really trying to score that much once they went down to 10. So I probably would have, put on more attacking players a little earlier than when he made those subs. So that brought him down slightly. But I do think defensively we were solid, and I like the patterns of play we were playing. In the second game, I think what I was complaining about as far as substitutions and timing, I thought he got this game much better. Brought Dixon on earlier to get the fresh legs out wide. At the time, I kind of wanted Lowe to forward on, but I think Dixon's energy was really required more than maybe Lowe's know-how. We just needed another player that was going to duplicate the energy level that Campbell was giving us on that side and continue to help out Greg Lee, and I think Dixon did that. So I think it was pretty much a masterclass coaching performance from McLaren. The one thing I have to take off the points for, and it's not really towards this game, it's just as a coach not having your team ready to face anything, is Greg Lee playing right back. I don't care. He did it before. I don't care. It just never looked right. So the 9 for me becomes a 8.5 for that one detail that I didn't like. All right. So 8.5, 7 for McLaren for me for the 2 games. So that's pretty much it, people. That is pretty much it for all the player ratings. What I will do is I am going to do I'm going to do a screenshot of the games, and you guys will see the ratings that SofaScore gave them. We can kind of see how close we were to what they were saying, right? And before I go, people, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is really for those, for those here as well, but for those watching back on the watch along, because in the title, I just wanted to touch on this before we close the show. Will the crowds keep growing? So I remember people like the video, share, and subscribe. Big up to all those who made an appearance tonight. I know that there is a lot going on. So people are all around the world watching YouTube. Jamaica, it is the time when people talk in Jamaica. So we give thanks for all the people that decided to make Jason Gooner TV the place to be tonight. So yeah, man, respect for the love and respect. And thanks again as well for the likes and the shares. Thanks for all the subscribers we've been adding lately. We are really, really appreciative of all the love and support. We are at a terrible number right now in the likes, so somebody just smash the like button, please. And those of you watching on the watch along, make sure you have smashed the like button as well. Yeah, man, because we need to get this video to 100 likes by the time it process in a Maros zine. All right, that's what we need, people. So yes, to close out the show, will the crowds keep growing? So I remember, people, when the partnership was announced between 876 Stream and the JFF, a lot of folks were, I'd say underwhelmed with the signing or with the partnership, because a lot of the argument was, when you look at 876 reach on social media, we have, YouTubers that cover Jamaica that would have more subscribers than them. So what is it that 876 Stream will bring that, us who kind of already are the mouthpiece for a lot of this? Well, not me personally, but those who have been doing it a long time now, are the mouthpiece for the Reggae Boyz and JFF and all this stuff. We kind of have our they are more in tune with the pulse of the fans and what they're thinking and how things are going. And every day we're discussing different things. I keep saying we, but every day people are discussing these things with hundreds to thousands of people watching them. You would think that that's like almost a direct line to the heartbeat of the pulse of the fans, to a big bulk of the fans, because there's a lot of fans that watch these shows, whether they live on the island, they live in the diaspora. It's kind of where everybody can meet up and talk about Jamaican football, right? So most of the chats in this space weren't so pleased, or weren't like, they weren't understanding what they were going to bring to the table. Now, the first time when I started to maybe have a different mindset about what you call it now, about 876 Stream, is when I saw their work with the JPL playoffs, right? And I saw the crowds just continue to build from that first week. I think it was like the quarterfinals at Sabina, then to the next leg, the second leg of the quarterfinals. Then you got into the semifinals at I think that was still at Sabina, both legs, and then you got to the grand final at the stadium. And by that time, that final, I want to say, got about 18,000-20,000 people there. And I was like, wow, JPL final, nice big crowd. I mean, at the time, it was a bigger crowd than I had seen for the Reggae Boyz in, I don't know, since like, you'd say maybe 2014, 2015. I mean, that's probably the biggest crowd I had seen at the stadium to watch football. Even I want to say it rivaled it probably even had just about the same or even more than the Manning Cup final the other day. So anyway, I was impressed by that, and I was like, okay, how much of this that we see from the JPL will translate to when the Reggae Boyz play? Because that was my initial thought. I was like, okay, if this same company, and I know, a lot of legwork would have been done from the PFJL and, everything like that. But I know 876 Stream had a part to play in the marketing and in the, getting the word out, getting promotions done to want fans to come out and things of this nature. Now, I'll say this as well. When they got on board, they took the stance of, okay, let's engage with the social media people. Even myself had a code for tickets and all these things. Maybe it's a case where they did the analysis and it just didn't move the needle enough for them to think that it was going to make sense. And I didn't take any offense to them not reaching out about tickets this time around. I figured they did their analysis and, it just wasn't enough to do it again. There's no point. Now, whatever they did, kudos to them, because they got a bigger turnout than they did the last time. Whenever I heard I guess he's I don't know what his official title is, but Conrad, I don't know if he's president or managing director, I'm not sure. I don't remember actually, CEO, but he did say, like they would expect improvement every go around. So, they laid a foundation with Dominican Republic, and then the next step would have been the game against Cuba the other day, and then the next step is going to be the game against Honduras next month. Now, a couple of things that I want to point out about the response to the crowd. One thing that I think, and a lot of times people just don't expect to hear good things about the JFF on YouTube, but I'm going to say something that I think I really like. First of all, when you have something that gathers momentum, right? Surely after the game, the 0-0 fans would have been disappointed. But I would think that, to those who really and truly are fans and students of the game, or not even students of the game, but just fans, there must have been some cause for optimism based on the amount of chances and just the overall way we played the game. I would think, at least. Then factor in now, 3 days later, 4 days later, we go to Honduras when we have had a disappointing result against Cuba, knowing that 3 points is really and truly what we need to, get where we want to be in this group going into the end of this window. Going and pulling it off and winning 2-1. That is how momentum is gained through a fan base, a result like that. So what does the JFF turn around and do? Come out and say, listen, we're going to put tickets on sale for the 14th this weekend coming up. Brilliant move by the JFF. Momentum is a key factor in building up a fan base like this. So, my advice to them, these tickets are going on sale, 876 stream. That marketing push you guys do like the week of or 2 weeks before, stretch it out this time since the window is so close. And since it's kind of fresh in people's minds now. So, if you guys have any content related to the players that you haven't put out yet, and this is just advice now, if you guys have any content related to the players you haven't put out yet, the gentleman that does all the interviews with the coach and everything, if you have anything like that, put it out this week. Hopefully you have something with Antonio, he just scored. Hopefully you have something with Blake because he just had a huge performance. Just try to keep the conversation going. Us as YouTubers will do our part, I'm sure. Of course, I cover other things in football, so you'll see me do some EPL content coming up here pretty soon, some Champions League stuff. But at the end of the day, there are YouTubers that literally talk about Jamaica football every single night, every single day. And so, they will be helping with the situation. But at the end of the day, you need to do some of the stuff yourself, which you have been doing. And this is a kudos to you guys, because I do think that we can all agree that there has been a difference in the attendance in the last couple of games. And really the only thing that has changed is now they're actually working with for a marketing firm that is promoting the games. I still hear things about on the ground that's not the best. People still complain that there's not physical tickets. I've heard that complaint. I've heard that they're not, you're not hearing it enough. But whatever they're doing something right, because there has been a marked difference in how the crowds look. Even the players noticed it. Pretty much all of them that haven't been on the team so long, they're saying it's the best atmosphere they had seen so far. So, long may that continue, man. Long may that continue, and keep up the work, 876 stream, and just know that there are people out there that do want to see this thing work. Because, look, it makes me happy when I'm sitting there watching the game and I see the fans in the crowd. And I know as a player that must give them a boost, you know what I'm saying? So, wow, so USA and Mexico got extra time. Here's the girl from Florida State, Dudley. Ooh, cut out for Khan. All right, people. So that was my little crowd happiness moment. You know what I'm saying? Glad that the crowds are increasing. And anybody who got the actual figure, I've heard anywhere from 20 to 25,000. Is that correct? Or am I overdoing it there? What was the official attendance that was told to everybody? Or what did they actually say? Haven't read the Observer, Glean, or anything like that. So maybe anybody who has looked at any of that lately, please let me know. Bless up, Travis. Bless up. Yeah, read the chat. You see what Cranky say? Yeah, man. I guess you and him have a common foe now, you know? I don't believe Chris. I don't believe you get along with Chris Smith either. Chris just speak in mind, brother. People don't like it, but a firm opinion, you know? Just like you have yours, Cranky have his, I have mine. Just we no need for disrespect one another. But yeah, I guess Cranky does, him already do a show and did a lot of foolishness. So I can't wrong him if him just fed up and can't bother deal with it today. But I kind of sad him said that from him sick Chris Smith, no matter anyway him them just got left. If Chris Smith is here and Cranky actually wants to watch my show, I would hate for him to leave just because Chris Smith is here. But so it goes still. Everybody can't deal with everybody. Remember that last game at National Stadium before Cuba, the match time did change. Yes, that is true. That is true. So what could have even been? It could have been even better against Dominican Republic if that never gone, because that's a World Cup qualifier. So I know a lot of Jamaican fans. That's like the pinnacle of a game. No matter who we are playing from, is a World Cup qualifier game. That's like the biggest thing. So yeah. I like to see the turnout at night for the next World Cup game. Me and him good, but him overdo it too much now. Okay. So actually good. That's good. Yeah, come here and go back and forth a lot, but it's never really no disrespect stuff still. But yeah, man, Chris Smith just opinionated, brother, and him feel strongly about him things, and yeah, he gonna say what him feel like. All right, people. I watch the rest of this Mexico USA game. It's 2-2 now in extra time. Extra time just start, so first half. So I go watch this and see what I go on. Mexico I try pull the upset in the U20 World Cup, yeah. I don't know how them reach round of 16 and have to play each other. It's messed up, man. Good 1-2 for USA here. I really like this girl named Hutton, man. In the midfield, she bad. All right, crowd of people, man and woman, and children, animals and pets, subscribers and bad mind people when I subscribe. Big up on yourself. Manners and respect. It's been a nice show. Went through the entire team. Yeah, I got average out all the people and see how it look compared to the real stats and make you know if we're delusional or what going on with our brains. But them time the people enjoy the full joy the show, All the people them we did there from we start out, respect and thanks. All the people them that became a subscriber tonight, thank you so much for joining the Jason Gooner TV family. You will not be disappointed. As long as you love football discussion, you will absolutely enjoy your time with this channel, all right? So big up on yourself, people. Letting us say the drip again. Yeah, man. One day late, but never late. Yeah, man. Your boy Jason Gooner birthday forward and get my first gift in idea. So give thanks. The person who gave me this gift, you know who you are. I love you very much. Big up on yourself, people. Manners and respect. Jason Gooner TV. We're out of here. Blessings.